by the power of Grayskull.
Hello, this is just a quick review for CyberPunk 2077 for the old ps4. I've been looking forward to this because obviously it's been coming out for about 8 years, I think now. People have been waiting for it to come out, and I know people are complaining about the way the graphics are and how glitchy it is, and all the mistakes that have gone wrong with it. But I think they still have achieved lots, and people aren't really concentrating on the good stuff. They're only picking the faults on it. But if you're an experienced gamer, then you've played plenty of games that have had glitches and stuff where the pedestrian's like half in the pavement, and like, so you can't see his legs or something like that, and you can just forgive that stuff because it's just the creases that can be ironed out with patches later on. So I'm not really worried about the graphics in that respect because I know they'll just be patching it to death until it's the way it's meant to be. The only thing I was worried about is the broken quests where like, you would try and complete the quest but you can't because you need to talk to somebody, but it's not giving you the option to, or something like that. And I was just worried about that. But I've done the day one patch. It was about 17 gig long, so it was a big patch. But as a game on the whole, I love it. I think it's very much like Fallout. If you're a fan of Fallout or played Fallout, it's very similar to Fallout. You're just collecting everything you see. You can disassemble stuff. You can craft your own weapons. You can put mods on them. What I do like about this is you can, like, craft your own clothing. You can, modify your own stuff. So basically, if you find a nice pair of shades and a nice leather jacket that you want to keep throughout the whole game, then you can. You can just upgrade that stuff, so you can always pick your luck. Instead of like finding another set of clothing with a slightly higher armor rating, and you're constantly mismatching your outfit just to try and keep ahead of your armor. Whereas if you can just collect the resources, which is easy, you disassemble stuff that you don't want, people's guns, just food and drink and stuff like that. Like I say, it's like Fallout. You're just picking up everything, and then you're either selling it or disassembling it to craft more stuff. So it's got the role-playing kind of element. And as towards the city, I think the city is like really good. It's got loads of different kind of things to do. It's like, I wouldn't say that. It's like when you first put the map on, it's very daunting because you think, oh Jesus, there's so much to do. There's literally about 300 markers on the map for you to like do, and it's a bit overwhelming. You think, oh, there's so much to do, like I don't even know what to do first. But what I'd done was I just done the story mode for about 4 or 5 missions, just until I had got the swing of what was going on, and it slowly like gives you a chance to fight people and do lots of conversations, and getting in your car and driving places, and you just get used to the game. It's when you put it on, you're basically chucked into the deep end a bit, and it's just right, you've went through a prologue, and now, okay, see you later, there's the old full map. And like I say, the city isn't huge, but it's big enough, and it's so dense. It's like densely packed with things to do. You always see people, like, there's always, whenever you're walking around, fair enough, when you talk to people, you just press square to talk and they give you a response. It's not exactly full-on conversations, but still, it's varied. Like the city, the layout of the city, you go down some concrete steps, and then you turn left and you go through a tunnel, and then you're going up a ladder and you're going across the roof, and also the buildings, even though they're like skyscrapers, you can like go in and like go up the stairs, and like all the buildings are fully, like accessible kind of thing, and it's not just all graphics. So I do like that. And there is a Wildlands, the Badlands I think it's called, and obviously that's like a big part of it. Outside it's like the desert area, there's loads of rubbish, it's like the Mad Max part of it, if you become like a nomad. But you get loads of customization as well. That's another thing. Like I says, with the clothes, you get to like. I found this really good leather jacket with spikes on, so I'm gonna just keep that, and you just keep doing that up. Um, so I like the idea that you can really customize your guy. You don't have to just keep picking up like legendary stuff. You can create your own legendary stuff, and you can create your own look basically. So that's something they've done really, really well. Same as the weapons. I wish you could paint the cars and the vehicles and like choose what color you or what rims you've got. I mean, that would be amazing. And actually take it to the custom shop and do it up and stuff. That would be amazing. Maybe that's in a future patch or like a DLC or something. You never know. Same with the weapons. You should be able to rename them like you can on Fallout, and like paint them different colors or shit like that. But I suppose when you find a gun and it's a multicolored gun and you think, well, it's rare because like you can't just paint your gun any color. So I don't know. There's pros and cons to it. But as a game to play, I've really enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing it. I think I've played it for about 10 or 15 hours now. So I've sort of got the gist of how to play. I'm not going to bother going on about the story and what happens and stuff because there's no point in that. I'll just do it from my first impressions, just the way I feel when I'm playing it, that kind of thing. And it's just, it's great. It gives you loads of options. It gives you, like if you go into your settings, because it's a PC game, well, it's based for a PC, really. You can change like loads of options, so it's good in that way as well. Because there's nothing worse when you're wanting to change something, and it doesn't let you, or there's just simply no option to do it. I don't think you can change the layout of your buttons, which would have been nice if you could have swapped your buttons around. Because my best friend said that he would want to change them to, because I was telling him, you press square to get in and out your car, X is your handbrake, and everything. And he was like, I'd rather have triangle, get inside the car, but you can't use that triangles to change your weapons. And they've made the button layout the way it is. You're just going to have to get used to it, which is a shame, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, like I said, you're just nitpicking. It's easy to find faults in any game like that, but as a gamer, I like to just put on, instinctively know what to do. There's nothing worse than when they force you to read reams and reams of text, to try and explain, because a lot of the time you just press the circle or X to skip, just get to the game. That's why I paid the money, to play the game. And I think this does a good balance of letting you play and also giving you information which makes you understand stuff, because like I said, when you first start, it's just information overload. You've got loads on your hood, you've got loads on the map, you get chucked straight into the deep end, and it's like you can tell you're playing a huge game, but it's like you don't really know what you're doing. You've just got to explore. The best way to learn it is just to actually play it. But this is me doing the first couple of story missions, because when you don't know what you're doing, it's better just to have your hand held a little bit, just to tell you, this is how the game works, right? This is how you do it. So, I didn't know anything about the game at all at the moment when I was playing here. And obviously you play with your headphones in, because that makes it a lot better. You can hear absolutely everything they say. I mean, I took all the subtitles off. I took the all the dodgy camera effects off and motion blur and stuff like that, because it's bullshit. I had weapon sway on, and I didn't change the sensitivity of the axis or anything yet. I'm going to get used to that first before I start fucking around with that. But like I said, there's loads of options, so you can customize it to the way like you play. So it's good in that respect. But it's a futuristic Fallout. That's the way I would describe it. The Fallout is in the future, but it's in a post-apocalyptic nuclear fallout kind of future where everything's futuristic, but it's all fucked and broken. Whereas on this, you're in the future and everything is futuristic. Everything's all computers, flying vehicles, like high-tech weapons, like high-tech medical care, all that kind of stuff makes you feel more immersed in the game, especially when you're finding stuff all the time to create your character, and you're doing dodgy little like side quests here and there, and you're helping people and you're fighting people. So it's very interesting to like just go about and explore. I find a lot of the time, instead of getting in my car, I'll just run or just walk through the streets, because you don't have to go very far before you've got something to do, because the map is like so dense with activities. You can literally walk down the street and you'll see somebody getting mugged and you can go and help them, or there's like a side quest which you can go and investigate, because some of these side quests go on for quite long. Like you'll activate it and it's not just simple a fetch quest, go here, collect this magic whatever and then bring it back and I'll give you some money. It's like then you have to follow the person, and then you go on a little mission with them, and then you've got to meet them back later, and like it drags it out, or I wouldn't say drags, but it fleshes it out to make it feel like it's an actual quest. And I've never came across a quest really that's been the same yet. I've had to go to a strip club and get a dance. I've had to, help somebody get the car back. I had to go and kill somebody, like collect a bounty kind of thing. There's just lots of different varieties, and it makes it fun to play. And like you say, you're all in this futuristic setting where you're walking around and you're immersed in the world. That's the thing I would say. It is very immersive. But like you can see here, like you can just walk around anywhere you want. The city is so dense. You can just go around exploring like this. There's always something there. There's, say, vendors and stuff you can go and talk to and buy food, or there's always like melee weapon vendors. Oh, look at the graphics. Did you see a hair there? Did you see how a hair didn't like come into graphics until I actually got close, and then it like spawns in kind of thing? But I don't mind that because it doesn't really spoil the game. It's only if you're being nitpicky. It looks really bad, but that can all be patched later on. But all these doors, do you see like these doors on the left and the right, you can go into them doors, but I haven't got a good enough technical skill. See that monk? He was like a monk at a vending machine, but I don't have enough like technical ability to just break into any vehicle or car that I want. So it's something like you've got to do your build, like it just depends what you're wanting to specialize in. Are you stealth? Are you more of a tech savvy kind of person where you can hack into things? Are you just like a tank build where you're just going in with a baseball bat and just like smashing everyone's head in? What you want to do, that's the thing, it gives you the option to play the way you want to play. And also when it comes down to like stats and stuff, the more you use your like sword or baseball bat, the better your stats become in that chosen thing. So if you start using pistols a lot, then your pistols are going to automatically upgrade the more you use them. So I wouldn't concentrate at first putting all your perks into pistols thinking, I need to get good at the pistols. You'll just become good at using your pistol just by default. And so put your perks into something that you're probably not going to play, because I don't really hack anything. That whole hacking into stuff and all the cyber hacking and stuff, that doesn't really appeal to me as much as it does the shooting and the melee and stuff like that. So I'll put my stats into the technical stuff so I don't have to learn it, but I can open doors and I can open chests and stuff like that without having to do lots and lots of hacking in order to build it up. Whereas I'll be using my pistols and my melee weapons all the time, so I don't really have to worry about putting too many perks into them, like just stuff like that. But again, it's up to you. You can play any way you want. That's the beauty of it. I think that's what people aren't really taking away from this game, because it's got hyped up so much. And then they're just like, oh, it's not perfect, so they're just slating it like fuck. And at the end of the day, none of the games are perfect. How glitchy was Grand Theft Auto, and yet that was probably one of the best games that's ever been released for the PlayStation 4. So just because it's got a few faults doesn't mean you have to totally write it off and think, oh, let's just boycott it. Let's complain. I don't see the point, just give it time. The very foundations of the game are good. They've got good, it's like a recipe. They've got good ingredients for this recipe, and it's been put together. Yes, it's not absolutely perfect, but the potential's there, and once they fine tune that recipe, it's going to be an amazing game. And especially if they were talking about bringing out DLCs and shit like that, extra missions and extra cars, and you can only just imagine. And plus the driving, talking to cars, there's quite a big range of cars on there, all different types. The driving's not too bad. I always compare the driving to Grand Theft, because Grand Theft have got it down where, you know, the physics and everything are good, and, you know, it feels more realistic in that sense. But these, you know, it doesn't like doing jumps. You know, if you're in your car and you're doing a jump, like your suspension slams off the floor like fuck, and then the front end might like just violently bounce up in the air as if you've got hydraulic suspension. But you know, it's not very realistic in that sense. And if you're doing a handbrake turn, if your car's not powerful enough, you like, you know, in Grand Theft where you do a handbrake, and if you keep the accelerator down, the wheels keep spinning, and you'll go into a spin as you pull away. Whereas on this, you'll come to a complete stop, like just suddenly jerk to a stop, and then you'll drive away, kind of thing. So it's a bit, you know, it's rough around the edges of the driving. But considering CD Projekt Red have only ever done horses, so to get car mechanics, like I would say 70% right on the first try is more than adequate. It's not like the cars are totally horrendous and they're undrivable like a lot of PS4 games. You know, I can't really think of any off the top of my head, like, but there's loads that the driving is just horrendous, whereas the driving isn't too bad. And like you say, there's lots of cars. You can go off-roading and stuff like that, like, because I took it off-road, and there's damage on the cars as well, and your car like starts backfiring and loses power and stuff when it starts getting smashed up, and then eventually sets on fire and then it blows up. So you know, that's quite good. In terms of the police and stuff, you know, even NPCs or like just people you're fighting, you'll get like, it's like all games, once you get into the sight of like the radar sight, you know, like on Grand Theft where the police are looking for you with a radar cone. When you've got that cone and you're looking, if it'll like go bring, and then it'll turn red and it starts filling up, and once it gets full then they've seen you. But if you can just get behind cover, it'll dip back down again, then it turns yellow, and then they just continue like patrolling after a while. But I've found, even if it's the police or anyone, and you could just literally run into, say, like a strip joint, run in, steal the stuff you need to steal, and just run past everybody, and maybe kill the odd person like who you have to, and then just run through, and then by the time you're actually in the back office getting the documents or whatever, everybody else who you've just ran past doesn't know where you are, and they're just looking for you still. So it buys you time to like reload and take your health, and you know, so I hope they change that kind of thing, because it's not foolproof. But again, it depends how you want to play. If you want to break, like try and cheat the game and try and just run through and just collect everything, and you know, not have to do it properly, or if you're the kind of person that wants to be immersed in the cyber world, what's it called, Night City, if you want to be immersed in that, then you're hiding, like you're taking cover, you're taking each guy out one at a time, and you're doing it properly. So again, it's all about choice, this game. I think it's great. It's all about how you want to play and the kind of person you're going to be. Same with the dialogue options. The better stats you've got opens up different dialogue options, and you can choose different answers that maybe weren't there before. So, but relating to that perk, you know. So if you're strong, it'll say something to do with like you'll bash his head in if he doesn't do what you say, or if it's technical, you've got information that they didn't think that you knew about, and you know. So there's lots of stuff about this game that is a plus. But there is negative things. I mean, it's not perfect, but again, for somebody who's like an experienced gamer, I wouldn't. It doesn't make us want to like. It doesn't put us off. It doesn't put us off wanting to play it every day when I'm thinking, oh, I've got to put CyberPunk on. I look forward to playing it because it's good. And especially when you get in the swing of things and you start upgrading your stuff and you get to learn the mechanics of how things work, it becomes even better, because then you're on a mission to upgrade that favourite gun or get your baseball cap upgraded, you know, as much as you can. It's just, I would definitely go out and buy it. If you're thinking about it and you think, I'll just watch a few reviews, because that's what I always do. Always have a little look around to see what's happening before you go out and buy it, because it might not be your game. But I would definitely go out and get it if you're into first person role playing games. You know, that's the thing. It's only for a niche market, really, I suppose. But most people like playing first person shooters. So a lot of people are just going to be running and gunning and just playing it that way. But really, you can go through the whole game without even getting a weapon out. You can use non-lethal force and just knock people out, or taser them, or fucking even hit them with a baseball bat. That's considered non-lethal. You just knock them out, and you can just keep hitting them and hitting them until they die. But I mean, to see the driving there, you got a little sense of how sensitive the steering is and stuff. I mean, it's not ridiculous or unplayable. It's just you've got to get used to it. You've got to get used to the way the handle, the car's handle, and how fast it is, how much, like when you need to start putting your brakes on. Because if you're a big player of GTA, then there's all the different types of cars with different performances and stuff on there, so you get used to like handling different cars on the fly, and it's the same kind of thing. But like I said, I was on my way to look for a cyber psycho, and I came past this robbery that was going on, so I just thought, I'll just take them on. I've got plenty of frag grenades. I found this samurai sword ages ago, and I've just been upgrading that and doing that because it's got like a 10% chance of bleeding and a 5% chance of critical or something. Plus, it's like 400 and something damage points, so it's lethal. Like 1 or 2 hits and you're chopping people's heads off, and that it's fucking mint. So I'll just use that. I'll hit them with my rifles and my pistols from afar, and then I go in and clean up with my samurai. But that's it. Just go out and get it. Cyberpunk is a really good game. Don't listen to the haters until you've tried it yourself. If you can look past the graphic bullshit and everything like that, broken quests, just until it gets patched, then you won't be disappointed, I promise. So that's it, really. Just go out and get it. Say that.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.